Lipotropic, and this one is by Stance. What Lipotropic is, it is a stimulant, caffeine-free formula. It is L-Carnitine tartrate based. A lot of you guys have heard of L-Carnitine. Basically, L-Carnitine is naturally produced in the body, but your body only will produce so much, only what it needs. So by adding it in, you're just increasing the benefits of the L-Carnitine. L-Carnitine acts as a shuttle. On cellular level, it attaches with fat cells or triglycerides and pushes it through your body to be converted and metabolized to be used as energy. You can do it pre-cardio or pre-weight training, mixing it in some water and drinking it. You gotta read your labels. This also has vitamin D3, B6, and the chromium. They serve a purpose working with insulin to better metabolize carbs. So basically the use of carbs, and it just has to be done correctly with a diet and a training. Best time to take this is before. You can do it before or during your workout. I'll mix it with my BCAAs and glutamine. So that's a powder form of the L-Carnitine. You don't want to have the powdered L-Carnitine with all the other extras in it. We move to just your basic L-Carnitine in capsule forms. This is just straight carnitine, nothing else added to it. Some people would prefer to get all their extra minerals and vitamins from foods, so you'll just go to a more straight source of L-Carnitine. And this is just a generic one I bought from a local health food store. So you could supplement this in, and usually you just follow the dosage on the back. Otherwise, you can find L-Carnitine in pork and seafood and chicken, certain dairy products like ice cream, milk, and cheese. Depending on your diet goals, that's where you would choose on intaking certain foods or supplementing with a product. So next one, which I think is actually extremely important, and I know all of you are familiar with that, but it is fish oil or your omegas. Your 369s. I personally like this one. This is the Nu-Tek Nature's EFAs. This one has multiple different oils into one little capsule. Otherwise, you could do just straight fish oil. So your omega 369, it plays a very, very important role in brain function, growth, and development. And I kind of touched base on this a little bit on my micro and macronutrients video when I was talking about fats. And they also reduce the risk of heart disease. So I highly, highly, highly recommend having omegas in your diet. Fat burners, the most popular one. So this is the women's thermogenic that I personally use. I actually never used to use a fat burner until I competed. I just used it because it was on my plan. I didn't really understand a fat burner. Well, it compelled me to dig a little deeper and understand exactly what a fat burner is and what it's used for. And in so many cases, it is used improperly. Everyone thinks that just by popping a fat burner, the fat is just gonna melt off. And actually, no, it's not. When they are used properly, they can be very effective. But what needs to be in place first? Diet and training. I actually heard a little expression about fat burners. I want to think of fat burners as the scope. What a fat burner is used for is it's help you just to aim better, to kill fat more efficiently. Diet is your weapon, and the heavy artillery is the exercise. This is not going to do anything if those other two aren't in place. All you're going to be doing is like this, but nothing else is going to happen. Diet is going to be 100% in achieving your weight loss goals. By adding this in, it's just gonna help you burn that fat more efficiently. Now, I will cycle through using my fat burner. I'm not on it all the time because I don't want my body to depend on something like this. And eventually your body's gonna adapt and get used to this. So it's good just to give your body a break. I usually recommend going through one cycle of this, which could be 4, 5, 6 weeks, depending on the dose that you're taking, and then just being off of it for the same amount of time, for 4, 5, or 6 weeks. Doing that back and forth so your body doesn't depend on and gets used to a product. You always want to start with the lowest dose, adjust to your tolerance, and then work your way up, because it does have stimulants and does have caffeine. Unfortunately, a lot of fat burners out there are just full of caffeine. And what does caffeine do? It speeds up, it gets you going, it gets you all crazy, and it can suppress your appetite. And what happens when it suppresses your appetite? You don't eat. So when you're not eating, it promotes weight loss. So you never want to just throw fat burners in and take them lightly. The nice thing about this stance one is I don't get that way. I don't feel like that, because you guys know me, I'm very sensitive to caffeine. This never gave me that super crazy jitteriness to it. The nice thing about this fat burner is it does have B6 and B12 in it, and it also has niacin in it. So a lot of you, if you aren't familiar with what niacin is, niacin's found in a lot of dark greens and various food items. Niacin is actually an essential vitamin. A lot of people notice when they take this, they kind of get that red flush, and what it's called is a niacin flush. Basically, is bringing the blood to the surface. That's why you get that kind of that tingly, warm feeling. It's actually really, really good for you. A combination of them is it just creates a more effective way for fat loss. A lot of you guys think like just by putting in a fat burner, woo, yeah, fat's coming off. Unless you are doing it incorrectly, not eating and doing this, you're gonna get weight loss, but in the process, you're gonna also get muscle loss, and we don't want that. We're trying to keep the muscle and take off that body fat percentage a little bit. You don't have to be on the fat burner all the time. You can go without it, and I'm a perfect example of that. I was on a fat burner last summer, June, and I was on my stance fat burner all the way up till September, and then I took a break until literally 4 weeks ago. I started again. So if you guys followed me through that 6 months, I was not taking a fat burner then, and I still maintain lean. Diet and training, guys, and not always being on a supplement. Fat burners have to be used correctly, not just thrown in the diet. Really, the most important thing when it comes to fat burners, you guys, educate yourself on the fat burner that you are shopping for before you just buy it. Nothing can replace diet and training. I'm gonna say that a gazillion more times. Read your labels, understand what it is before you go and purchase the product. I get asked a lot about pre-workout. I personally do not do a pre-workout. I used a pre-workout, oh my gosh, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I thought I was gonna die. I took a full scoop of whatever it was. I was beyond uncomfortable. It wasn't like I had all this energy and I was feeling jittery. I was so uncomfortable. I was trying to work out. I couldn't focus. I had to leave the gym. Try and drink a lot of water just to flush my system out. But I remember sitting in my car. I couldn't drive anywhere, and I was just like sitting there. That's seriously what it made me feel like. I personally haven't done a whole lot of caffeine throughout my life anyway. I barely do coffee. Go through like a few week phase, and then I won't have coffee for a while. I just don't like them. I don't care for them. I don't even recommend any to my clients, but if people ask, I do have some options at our Nutrishop store that I will suggest for people who want that. I try to depend on more natural sources of energy. When it comes down to it, is my food, carbs. That's what I depend on for my energy, and actually, because I don't have all this other extra caffeine in my diet, I get pretty good, clean, natural energy just from my carbs. And because I have enough of them, I'm like, woo, all the time. But it's those people who restrict their carbs who feel like zombie, so then they resort to caffeine. So then you have this just horrible habit. I usually will just have black coffee with some stevia. I can go without it for a long period of time and not even care. I don't like to depend on caffeine. I just stick with my natural sources. So coming down to carb source for energy, you guys have seen me use and talk about Karboyln. So Karboyln is a supplement, 50 grams of carbs in 1 scoop. So you're getting straight glucose, straight just energy. And this is not something I use all the time. I like to do it 1 scoop or half a scoop during my workouts. It also has vitamin B6 in it as well, another essential vitamin. But liquid source of carbs is just fast digesting, fast in your system, so you're just getting that energy quickly. So I do recommend this if you want a natural source of energy. Otherwise, just go with regular carbs. And again, I don't do this all the time. I will take breaks from it and go with my whole foods. In the beginning, it can be so overwhelming, and you really should be focusing on building a good relationship with food, establishing a well-rounded, nutrient-dense diet, and a good training regimen. It goes back to the first two videos, your diet and your weight training, and establishing those first before you go crazy on supplements. Those are the only supplements that I would really recommend to beginners. Have some options for added benefits, all the supplements. If you want, otherwise you don't need them. Educate yourself, research, understand the products, read your labels, guys, before you go buy a bunch of stuff or just take this product and this product and this product because this person's taking it and this person's taking it. Educate yourself, ask questions. Knowledge is power. I just want to thank all of you guys for all the positive feedback on my last couple videos, the support. You guys are awesome, and I'm so grateful that I can bring so much information to you guys, and I think it's very important, especially in today's industry. It ends up going a lot of image-based, and people tend to kind of lose sight of being healthy and just being happy. We get so obsessed with looking a certain way that we forget about everything else, and I think we want to try to stay humble, stick with the real, and being healthy inside and out. What you do now is going to affect you in the long run. Very important not to lose sight of taking care of yourself. Thank all of you. You guys are awesome, and it just motivates me even more just to keep educating you guys and bringing you guys great info. It really makes me happy to see others happy and see others succeed in their own journey. Hopefully this was helpful and I got enough info in there that was easy to understand. And I hope you guys enjoyed this 3-part series. It gets you started on the right track and you find happiness and balance in starting your weight loss journey. Again, thank you guys so much. Please, if you like this video, please like it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you guys on the next video. Happy training.